Okay, so here is Arena. It's quite a large function, but let's just take it one line at a time. We have a new drone, and this is a global drone. It's not a local drone. We are moving D to the location of B. That's because this is just to standardize the drone's location. Otherwise, it might be initialized where the player is looking at, or somewhere in the air if they're looking not at a block, not at the ground. So moving D to the location of me always makes D right at your feet. And so we have some movement commands. It's going to move right, forward, and then down. And so the drone is going to be at the, hold on. Okay, so these three drone movement commands, they're going to take the drone to, and I have a little drawing here, get the pen, scribble. They're going to take the drone to this location right here. Now this location is the bottom left block in the tile, in this tile right here. And so this is going to be, this block at this position is going to be the initial tile in all of these tiles. So I'm going to define the bottom left block as pretty much the definitive block for the tile, and you'll see that in a bit. So now we're going to do something with two loops, a loop nested within a loop, and I'm counting with X from 1 to 3, and I'm counting with Y from 1 to 3. And then what I'm doing with X and Y, so here I'm in the loop. The first time it goes, X is 1, and then Y is 1. So set local row to update to in list arena block locations get number X. So that's getting the first array, that's getting the first element in arena block locations, which was a list. So it's getting this first element here, so it's this. So it's another list. So we need to actually get into it twice. And that's why we have the Y variable that's also counting. As you can see, we set local tile to update, and then we say in list row to update, because that was this list that we got. And then we say Y, which is 1. So now we're finally at the tile location. And now we just set tile to update, which was that tile location, to the location of D. And then these two blocks are setting the list again. Because right now we're just creating a new variable and assigning it to D, but we need to put D back into the 2D list. And so we're doing that by first putting the tile back into the row, and then putting the row back into the arena block locations 2D list. And so this is just basically storing that location that I showed you, this location right here, it's storing that in the list. And so that list is going to hold all the locations for each of the 9 tiles. It's going to hold the bottom left tile location. And so that's exactly what the rest of this loop does. After it stores the location, it says move drone in direction right, distance 4. So let's go back to the drawing. So it's going to store this location, and then it's going to move drone to the right 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, because there's a air block here, and then 4. So now drone is going to be here, right there. So as you can see, it's kind of spanning this tile structure. And that's the first row, and then there's the second row here, and then you have a third row here, and then we also have columns, which is our y variable in that 2D array. 2 and 3. So it's 1. When it starts out, it's 1, 1. So we're storing this. Let's also put that this is the x, and that this is the y variables. So you can see that x1, y1, that's our first one. x1, y2, that's going to be our second tile. So you can see that x stays at 1 while y goes 1, 2, 3. And then it gets this entire row. And then after this y loop is done, we're going to see these drone movement commands. So what do these drone movement commands do? It moves the drone forward by 4 and left by 12. So y is going to be 3. Just switch tools. So y is going to be 3, and x will be 1. So it's going to record that location. And then there's no more tiles in this column. So y is going to not continue. It's going to increment x. So x is now going to be 2, and y is going to be 1, so we want to move the drone to this location here. So that's why we're moving the drone. So y is going to be 3, it's going to record this, and then at the end of y it's going to actually move the drone 4, and it's going to be nothing here, but that's okay because we're not recording this. So now this is the reasoning behind moving up 4 for getting on this next row and then going over 12 to get back to the original column. And then it does the same thing, and then it does the third row right there. So now you can see that we've stored all the locations so that we can use them later. So if we go back to the code, you can see that we've stored the locations, and now we're doing some world edit commands. Just the basic pose 1, pose 2, and then some shifting and setting. And I'm not really going to go over the world edit commands. Maybe I will in a different video, but you can do pretty cool things with world edit, and yeah, you can see that from the video. So after the world edit commands, it calls this function randomize tiles. So let's go look at randomized tiles before we look at the So y is going to be 3. It's going to record this, and then at the end of y, it's going to actually move the drone 4, and it's going to be nothing here, but that's okay because we're not recording this. So now this is the reasoning behind moving up 4 for getting on this next row and then going over 12 to get back to the original column. And then it does the same thing, and then it does the third row right there. So now you can see that we've stored all the locations so that we can use them later. So if we go back to the code, you can see that we've stored the locations, and now we're doing some world edit commands. Just the basic pose 1, pose 2, and then some shifting and setting. And I'm not really going to go over the world edit commands. Maybe I will in a different video, but you can do pretty cool things with world edit, and yeah, you can see that from the video. So after the world edit commands, it calls this function randomize tiles.